Good Wednesday morning, and thank you for joining us here on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Jason Hackett. Let's get right to your headlines. Happening right now, Forest Lake police are escorting their fallen brother in a procession ahead of his funeral. The police department announced yesterday Detective Josh Brown died on Monday after serving the city for nearly 8 years. They're inviting the community to support his family by lining today's procession route. The procession goes through Forest Lake, making their way to Matson Funeral Home. Officers say the best places to stand and show support are on the south side of Broadway Avenue and the east side of Lake Street North. Breaking news this morning, the Pohlad family is keeping the twins. In a statement this morning, Twins Executive Chair Joe Pohlad says the family explored several options over the past few months and decided to stay the principal owners of the franchise and that they are in the process of adding 2 partnership groups. Those partnerships need to be approved by the MLB, and once they are, the Pohlad family says they will share more details. Happening right now, Operation Secure St. Paul is underway as the city works to restore its systems following that massive ransomware attack. One of the steps includes resetting thousands of passwords for city workers. Michelle Beck is at Roy Wilkins Auditorium as officials hope to get that finished today.
Well, hey, good morning, guys. The city officials said before their plan was to get through about 80 employees every half hour. They're one step closer to that this morning. Now, once their passwords are reset, they'll be able to get the city system back reopened. Now, by the time Mayor Melvin Carter posted this video late last night to Instagram, the city had reset at least 2,000 passwords. The mayor confirmed the ransomware group Interlock demanded payments from the city. The city refused, and Interlock then put online the data primarily from the Parks and Rec Department. That included work documents and copies of IDs.
While the scope of what they published against us is far smaller than what they've accomplished elsewhere, the fact remains, someone was inside our systems. And once that happens, there's no way to guarantee that they could not have accessed more.
The mayor now says the city will provide a year of free credit monitoring plus identity theft protection insurance for all of its city employees, whether or not these individuals' data were compromised. Back to you.
Michelle, thank you. Across the river in Minneapolis, Mayor Jacob Frey will deliver his 2026 budget address just before lunch. We expect to learn more about his plan to roll back double overtime pay for Minneapolis police officers. The mayor says the city started paying double overtime in 2022 as the police force faced a staffing crisis, but the force is now at its highest staffing level in years. The mayor says it will save taxpayers more than $3.5 million without affecting safety. We have an update this morning on the ongoing financial struggles at Hennepin County Medical Center. In the last 24 hours, the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners approved a plan to take direct control. The commissioners say their plan is to stabilize the hospital so it doesn't close. Board Chair Irene Fernando says this is in the best interest of the patients and workers.
We got to stay open. We have to have everybody's back, and the way to do it is to temporarily have operational oversight of this incredible organization to ensure that its mission and its impact are unwavering in a time of really, really pronounced resident need.
HCMC is the state's only safety net hospital, which means they'll provide care to everyone, including people who don't have insurance. Developing right now, one person is in custody and a child is recovering after being shot overnight. This happened around 1 a.m. near Winchester Lane and Indiana Avenue North. That scene has since cleared. Audrey Russo has been working to get new information. She's at the police station with everything we know so far.
Good morning. Yeah, here at the police station because the scene has cleared, but an officer on scene did confirm to us that a child is recovering from a gunshot wound. Here's what we know at this point. Take a look at this video. The first calls came in around 1 o'clock in the morning. By the time our crews arrived, we could see multiple squad cars on scene along with some ambulances. Our photographer on scene saw someone being led out of the house and into a squad car to receive help. They also saw saw officers speaking to other witnesses on the scene. Now, those officers did confirm that a child was shot and is expected to be okay. They weren't severely hurt, but it's unclear if that child was the only person injured. Now, police also told us on scene that there was a person taken into custody. It's unclear what the charges would be at this time, but I have reached out to Brooklyn Center Police for more information, and I'll be sure to pass that along as soon as I receive updates. Back to you.
Audrey, thank you. The stage is set this morning for the special election to fill Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman's seat in the Minnesota House. Just before our 10 p.m. newscast last night, XP Lee was declared the winner of the Democratic primary. The current Brooklyn Park City Councilor took about 59% of the vote. He's going to face Republican Ruth Bittner for the seat. She ran unopposed in her party. The general election is set for September 16th. Happening right now, fire officials investigating what sparked this fire at a Medina home overnight. We know it happened around midnight on Wild Meadows Drive. This is brand new video of the fire that our photographer shot overnight as crews worked to put it out. Some pretty intense looking flames there. It's not clear how it started or if there was anyone inside. New video just in this morning showing intense flooding in Tennessee after torrential rain. This video is from Chattanooga. You can see several roads underwater and emergency crews rescuing people. There was so much rain that parts of the interstate into the city were impassable. At least 6 inches of rain fell on Tuesday evening at Chattanooga Metropolitan Airport. Some school districts in the area will be closed today due to the weather. And then parts of Chicago are cleaning up this morning after nasty weather Tuesday evening. Intense rain came down for hours in the metro area, flooding homes and streets there. Wind gusts reaching up to 45 miles per hour in parts of the area. The severe weather also knocked down trees and caused power outages. Thankfully, there are no reports of any injuries. A live look from our nation's capital this morning, where President Trump is expected to meet virtually today with Ukrainian President Zelensky and European leaders ahead of his face-to-face with Russian President Putin on Friday in Alaska. While here at home, the White House is defending the president's move to take over law enforcement in the nation's capital. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
A new site for tourists at some of Washington, D.C.'s most visited landmarks as hundreds of National Guard troops began deployments in the nation's capital overnight, joining D.C. police now under federal control for 30 days on orders from President Trump, who declared a public safety emergency.
We are removing as many criminals from the streets and we are cleaning up D.C. as best as we can.
The White House touting 23 arrests Monday night by federal agents from homicide to guns and drugs, also promising to remove homeless encampments and move people to shelters for services or to jail if they refuse.
These are pre-existing laws that are already on the books. They have not been enforced.
Protesters and critics in Congress slamming what they call a manufactured crisis and presidential overreach.
He's taking away checks and balances.
City leaders pointing to dropping violent crime stats over the past 2 years. The mayor meeting with the attorney general, promising to make the most of the surge in federal resources while criticizing what she called an authoritarian push.
We all need to do what we can in our space, in our lane, to protect our city and to protect our autonomy.
It all comes as the Trump administration is also focused overseas, preparing for Friday's summit in Alaska between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, which the White House now calls a listening session, confirming Ukrainian President Zelensky will not join, though he is speaking by phone today with President Trump and European allies, pushing for Ukraine to have a voice in ending the Russian assault. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Developing now, a Minneapolis Park police officer is recovering after his gun went off while trying to arrest a man accused of sexually assaulting children. This happened yesterday afternoon at Mueller Park in the Lowry Hill East neighborhood. We're still waiting to find out more information about the man accused of touching kids inappropriately at the park. Police say the man was found in a nearby alley after someone called 911. A fight broke out during the arrest, and police say the officer's gun went off in his holster before other officers arrived to help.
We're thankful for the caller being so alert to call 911 right away and provide information that then, obviously a courageous veteran officer was able to take action, and just thankfully this ended without anyone seriously hurt.
Well, the injured officer will be placed on administrative leave, which is standard in these situations as Minneapolis police investigate what happened. This morning, there's 6 games left in the WNBA regular season, but the Minnesota Lynx are already guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. They're now the best team in the WNBA with a 27-5 record, a pretty solid lead in the Western Conference. And they did say from the very beginning that this is their revenge year, and you can see they are certainly living it out. Go Lynx. Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.